We all need a snack sometimes, and mixed nuts are a great choice. But sometimes we need something a little better than just opening a can. My recipe uses the flavors of India to make an easy and addictive snack that pairs well with beer, coffee, cocktails, and everything in between. Join me today to make my spiced nuts appetizer. Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Let's Celebrate TV. I'm your host, Peter Lee. On this channel, we teach you all about celebrating. We share recipes for food, hors d'oeuvres, cocktails, and we share entertaining tips too. Now we try and keep it all as simple as possible, especially for those of you out there who say that you just can't cook or entertain, because we know that you really can. So if you like this episode, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and you'll get a new episode every single week. Today, our celebration is nuts. Well, it's all about nuts. We're making an appetizer to go with our cocktails or beer, whichever you like. We are making my version of spiced mixed nuts. So let's get started. You buy mixed nuts in the store all the time. These cans, they're boring, same old flavor. You know what? Chuck them. Goodbye. This recipe is much better and it's dead simple. Let's start with the nuts. I have a nice big bowl here. I have 4 different types of nuts here, and I have a half cup of each. First is pecans. Just halves, right in the bowl. Walnuts, right in. Again, halves, pieces, not the crushed or chopped. Cashews. And finally, almonds. Now it's important to note, none of these are salted. These are all completely unsalted nuts. And that's what you want to get because we want to control the amount of salt that goes in this. So let's give them a little mixy up, just to get them started. Now, let's talk about the spice. I'm going to be using something called Garam Masala. And Garam Masala is a spice blend. This is the kind that I have. It's used primarily in Indian cuisine, and it's cumin and cardamom and cinnamon and cloves and all kinds of wonderful things. The kind I bought happened to be a little more cinnamon forward, which I like in this recipe. But you can find these in the spice section of your grocery store. There are different brands and different blends, so buy a couple and try them out. Each one's going to be a little different. Now, we've talked about the spice, but we need to talk about what's going to glue that spice to those nuts. I'm going to use egg white. Now, some recipes call for using oil or butter. I don't like doing that because sometimes it makes them greasy. So why egg white? Egg white has no flavor and no fat, and it's going to make the nuts a little shiny, which will make them really, really appeasing. Now we have to separate the white from the yolk. It's very simple. Don't say, oh, I can't. You really can, and I'm going to show you. You don't need a fancy gadget. You need best kitchen tools, your impeccably clean hands. Just going to crack it right into, just like that. Gently, right into your hand. And you're just going to pass it back and forth and let the white drain through your fingers. It's just that simple. And there we are. Now, if I were doing many egg whites like this, I would save the yolks and make a lemon curd or something later, but this time I'll just discard. Now, if you really, truly object to touching egg whites, you could go to the refrigerated section of your supermarket where the eggs are, and you can buy egg whites in a carton. And there are measurements on them that tell you how much to pour out to equate to 1 egg white. So here's our egg white. We just want to get a little frothy. That's just going to help it volumize. So just a couple minutes with a little whisk. Good for the wrist muscles. You don't need meringue, or again, you just need a little whisk. You don't need a mixer. You're not making meringue or anything like that. All right. There we go. Just that fast. That just gives them a little more volume. Now we're going to pour this right into the nuts. Just like that. Scrape it all out. Now we want to mix well to get them all covered. It's pretty easy so far. What have you done really? You did a little whisking, a little mixing. All right, now for the spices and the flavorings. Here's my garam masala. This is 2 teaspoons of garam masala, which is just right for this amount of nuts. Right in. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Kosher salt, 1 teaspoon. Again, sprinkle it right over. And just stir to make sure everything's coated. Pretty simple. Now, if you're worried that I'm going to make you eat raw egg whites, don't worry. This is going to go in the oven. I have a nice big sheet pan here, lined with parchment paper. And all we're going to do is dump this out onto the parchment. Just like that. All right. And we just want to spread it out. Even layer. Try and keep them separated. There we go. Now, this is going to go into the oven. Now, my oven is heated to 325 degrees, and this is going to take about 25 minutes to roast. So we'll put them in, and then every 10 minutes or so, I'll give them a stir to make sure that they're roasting evenly and not sticking together. So here we go, off to the oven. Alrighty, it's been 25 minutes. We're out of the oven, and they've been cooling a little bit. So all I did was I popped them in a 325 degree oven. Every 10 minutes gave them a stir to make sure they were roasting evenly. And here they are. Look how beautiful. And the smell from that spice mixture is just, ooh, it's amazing. Let's do the favorite part, the tasting. Yeah. That spice mixture, the garam masala, is so complex. There's cinnamon and cardamom and cumin. And of course, there's a hint of salt that we put in. And it goes so well with the warmed, toasty nuts. Now, and this will go well with the beer. A little sip to wash it down. That's nice. So as always, guys, we'll have this recipe up on our website and in the comment section of YouTube. And as always, you're invited to come back next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Come on over, come on in, let's celebrate. Cheers.